Hi everyone, welcome to part 7 of the Lord of the Rings level Helm's Deep. There is one more clip to follow this and then we are finished. Now sadly I'm already there, this level is now complete, and what I'm going to show you is how to battle through the night. Now in the actual film they had to last through the night to defend them while the orcs attacked them. So that is what we're going to try and show you to do. Well, you've got to survive the night for you to complete the level. So I've speeded up the duration in this game just so you can see the effect happen quite quickly, but I'm going to get the effect to happen over about every 5 minutes. So the level starts off, and you'll see here I've added a few little things to my castle now. I've actually made a little castle area. I've made little ramps, and ramps are basically to help the enemies come down the wall, but I'll explain that later. But I've now... Okay, you'll notice I've got some quotes in there being chucked in. And again, I'm going to show you all these little other elements in my next clip. But what you'll notice here is as the battle goes on, after 5 minutes, we're going to have a dusk. It's going to start going dark. Now obviously I didn't want you to wait 5 minutes, so what I've done here instead is I've got it to do every 30 seconds the sky will change. So after the timer comes in, it will give us a little look, and then we get this going dark. And the whole mission for you in your Helm's Deep is to survive the attack through the night. So as you can see now, it's now becoming dusk. So I have the climate change, and it gets darker, and by having it get darker your vision changes, your action changes within the game, so that the environment gives you a different type of look or feel to it. And then once it gets too dark, I then make it go pitch black, and then by pitch black you can't see a thing. So I wanted to have little fire pots around so you could see those, and I'll explain those, how to set those up in the next clip, just all the finishing touches. But you'll see here the enemies attacking, and now it goes pitch black. So I've got my little fire pots in the castle. Everything comes up. It now makes it a lot harder to see the towers coming forward. Yeah, so you can just see them through the screen, but it makes it a little bit tricky on the screen. They're attacking me as well. So the object here is we have to fight through the night, and we've got to survive, and that's the object. So I'm going to show you now how to put all the logic in to make it go through from day to dusk to night, back to the dawn, and then back again, like you see through here. And if you can survive the attack all the way through the day, then you succeed. The game is over. So that is what tests whether you complete the game or not. The enemies will carry on going forever. Yeah, that's never going to stop. But if you make it through the day, then you've done the level, and that's the object. So we've got these coming through. So we've still got these attacking through the night. And like I say, I've speeded this version up just so you can see it, because I've only made it 30 seconds, but the final version it runs for 5 minutes. Each stage runs for 5 minutes on here, and I've created this little new ramp here because what I found is the enemies got stuck at the top. But again, the little flaws of the level I will point out to you. You'll see now I've got climbing frames up to the side of the mountain so I can quickly get up there, but again I'll point those out. But this is my level here, and if I make it through the day, which is now changed again, then the castle is now complete. So I'm going to run through all these clips, show you how to do the day effect, and then there's one more to come which will show you how to put all the logic together. So let's get this finished and hopefully get these all complete this weekend. So I've just loaded up a previous version with all the logic set up that we've done so far, and in this area over here, a blank area, again keeping it all nicely separated so I can understand where my logic goes, I'm going to create the change in weather. Now we need this logic gate. This is the most important logic gate because this starts it all off. So that's my starting point, okay? And I basically need a series of gates and a time delayer. So I'm going to put a time delayer in here, and I now need 2 gates for every time of day. Okay, so I need another logic gate, and it's a series of gates that we're going to pass through, and it's how we connect these up, how we get it to phase through the dates. So we're going to do a logic gate here. So this is for the normal day, and this controls that weather. Then we need the logic for the dusk, yeah, so when it's starting going dark, yeah. Then we need it for when it's pitch black, okay. And then we need it, once we've got that, then we need it going dawn, okay. So we need that weather, and I need one more from there to go back to daytime again. Okay, and I need the set of gates to trigger all those off. But that is the cycle of weather we're going to go through, and that's why you need these 2 logic gates, and it comes clear as we go through. Right, so that's now the logic set up. We also need a sky changer tool to change the sky, and I picked a particular sky which was the I'll just make sure I get the right one later, but there's one that's the same, 3 different types. One's got morning, night, and then pitch black is pitch black, so it looked like we were in the same place. Sadly, none of the others have different variation times for those. Right, so that's our starting point. So when we start my challenge mark, I input a signal in here. Right, so we can now say, right, on output, can I input into this signal? Okay, and then from output from there, it goes to the side and goes to this logic gate. Okay, so it goes into here and says, right, go into this logic gate and input a signal into here. Now from here, we're going to say, on output, can we start the timer? Okay, so it goes across and we'll say, start that timer, please. To start the delay. Now in my level I wanted about 5 minutes, so I've gone to the properties of the time delay and I've changed that to 300, yeah, because this is in seconds and that gives me about 5 minutes per each time of day, and from testing 5 minutes seems to be about right, so it makes it around about a 25-minute 30-minute game, which is level, which is not too bad. Right, so that sets it to 300. Now obviously I don't want to wait through there, so I'm going to reduce that back down to 20 seconds in this particular case. On the main clip I showed you I had it 30. Okay, now as the timer goes off, when it's complete, so new logic connection, when delay complete, can you input back into the beginning again? So it inputs a signal back in. So we've now created a loop. So the signal comes in, it goes to here, on output, it comes to the timer, timer completes, and it puts it, and it keeps going round in a circle. We'll never end that. Okay, but we need it to move down each particular stage. Now, when we send the signal out from this gate, I need it to make sure it's daytime. So on output, can we set it to the daytime? So we go into here, we go to our, I've done the wrong option again. Oh, I've missed that too soon. So it's not a random option. So new logic connection. I want on output on that connection. I don't want it to change the sky. I want to pick the Pacific sky. So it's Disney Infinity, and you'll see you've got the castle one, Twilight and Twilight Sky. Now the reason why we're setting it back to daytime is because you may restart the level again, so we need to reset everything back. So we've gone to Disney Castle Sky, and that will now change the sky to that weather, okay, which is the environment you're seeing now. Okay, now how do we move it to change the loop? Because we've just now created a loop. So what we're going to do here is when we get a signal to that second gate, and this is why we needed 2 logic gates, on output we're going to close that gate. Yeah, we're actually physically going to close it. So as it loops round, when it comes back again, that now will be closed. So therefore it won't go. So we do new logic connection. One input blocked. Can we input into the next gate? Yeah, and it's very much like my how to set a mission with Jabba the Hutt. So we input a signal into here. So now we repeat the exact same process. On output, input a signal into this gate. Okay, on the output from here, right, we can say on output we would like to change the sky. Right, so we're going to go and change the sky to Disney Infinity. And now this is the castle one, but Twilight. So it's going slightly darker. Yeah, and then what we will then do is go and reset the timer again. So new logic connection on output. Can we set the timer off? That will loop back through. Okay, and then we need to close the previous gate. So that goes into here, comes through here, and goes into this loop. So therefore, when we get in that section here, new logic connection on output, can you now close that gate? By closing that gate, it'll then move us down onto the next stage. It's a very simple effect, yeah, and you can set different stages up. I did something like this with John Wick, I think, where I actually get it to change the different environment at all. So I now say on input blocked, and we repeat it for each stage. So new logic connection. Now I never mentioned this while I was doing the clip because I didn't know it was going to look any good, and it actually works quite well. So I've kept this quite thinking this is what I had planned all along, but I thought I'd wait till now to tell you about it, because I had to test it to check it works. So on output, let's change it here. Now, this is the tricky bit, right? We're going to go to Disney Infinity 3, and there's an option called Pitch Black. Now you can't buy this. You have to unlock it. Or is it? It's not under 3. Sorry, it's under 2. Is it under 2? Yeah, it's under 2. Pitch Black Sky. You can only unlock this in the hub. And I mentioned this on the notice, but if you go into the Toy Box hub and you've got like the little town, you've got all different areas that you complete, you have to go to the building next to Finn, and there's some challenges. If you do all those challenges, you will unlock the Pitch Black Sky. So make sure you go there. Okay, so I'll just repeat the same option again, linked it to the sky, linked it to the timer, and then we blocked it. So same thing again now. When input blocked, can we go to the next stage? And now all we do now is, now we've got to Pitch Black, we now reverse it, we go back to Twilight, so it looks like dawn again. Okay, and it falls quite straightforward. So on here, new logic connection, on output, change our to sky changer, so we're now going back to Twilight, so we're going back to a certain stage, and then we end up with the castle sky at the end. Then we set the time again, so new logic connection, on output, set the timer off. So everyone sets the timer off, and the timer resends the signal through every time. We then close the gate. So on output, can we then close the previous gate, which will then move us down to the next stage. And it's a very simple effect, and again, it's totally separate. All these little things I've shown you are independent to themselves. The next clip I've got, I'm now going to show you how we connect all these sections together and how we link them through to make sure they're battle plans. I think I'm going to call it how to create your battle plans. Okay, and we'll link this last one. Okay, and I'll do a run through on here. So new logic connection, on output, change the sky back now to our starting sky. And we have to survive that morning, and once we get to that morning we can say great. Now we could loop again and do it if you want to battle through 3 days. I can't remember if they had to last 3 days at Helm's Deep, so we could change something like that. And if you do, you just keep adding more levels, so we could go back to dusk again. So you could keep adding more sections to it. It won't strain the system. Okay, but when we get to that point here, we've gone back to normal day. Once we've got the day back to normal, we've finished the option. I don't need to send the timer. Yeah. Now I could say on this, I think on this one I want you to last the extra day, so it sends it back through. So therefore, that's great. But we now know that that signal is complete. Yeah. So on output, I want to close that gate. Yeah. So if we get past here and we've now survived the rest of the day, the job is done. So I'm just going to grab one more of those and stick this on the end, and you'll see now it looks different. Now when I get to that signal, so when input blocked, that is my signal to say, right, we have now, input blocked, we have now finished the level. Yeah, it's now done. So that would go back to the challenge marker and say level complete. Now the only thing we need to do is obviously reset all this. Yeah, so I need to say what we do, how to reset it. So every time we restart level again, I want to reopen all those gates. So once we died, I have to put an option in there and say, please restart this particular option. Yeah, but that is our starting point of the logic as it goes through in that screen. Yeah, that would be a bit where we say it's all finished. So we'll put in another logic gate here. Okay, and it's a very short little quick clip, this one, but really nice and easy. And on this output here, all I'm going to do here now is I'm going to open all these gates. So on output, can you reset them all? New logic connection, on output, and they are there all open. And you could do this on any toy box level. So my next clip, I think, is not as exciting because it's putting it all together. But if you've placed, you'll notice I'm placing all my logic in different areas so I can see where they are. So that when I move them all underneath the map, I know I can go back in there to that's where that section is, that's where that part is, and I kept them all separated and not cluttered all together, so I can go back and adjust it or finally fine tune it. Now, so clip 8 will be that option, and clip 9 I'm going to play the whole map from beginning to end, and then I'm going to pick things that I would probably do differently now that I've got this stage, because like I said, I've been building this map and releasing the clips at the time, so normally I build it first, test it and play around with it first. Now obviously this gate here, remember we've got this gate, this triggers it all off, so what I'm going to do is on output, when I input that signal there, I'm trying to keep it down to the minimum. I can say in there, can we click into there and send that signal? And that roughly is it. That is how you create the weather effect. So why don't we just jump back and replay that beginning again, showing you the effect in action. Okay, so let's do that. So you'll see here the enemies are attacking. She'll start talking in a moment. The clock's got ticking because it's all triggered from that challenge marker, which we haven't shown you yet, which comes in the next stage. Once those 20 seconds are up, it'll ping it through and the climate will change on the screen. So as we keep watching here, you'll notice in this clip I've changed some of the battles, but look, there you go. Look, the climate is changing, it's getting darker. It looks quite a cool effect on here. And what we're going to do then is then show when it goes pitch black. At pitch black you really can't see anything. In the city, it's not so bad because you can see it quite clearly, but yeah, it works quite well. So don't forget to like the clip, by the way. That does help keep Disney Infinity, keeps it all talking anyway. Paris show was a bit of a letdown on it. Didn't say anything about Dreams. What happened about that? Nothing. They didn't mention it. So we'll see if that does ever arrive. But in the meantime, still loving this game. Still managed to find time to give you this clip and play Assassin's Creed, Wolfenstein, and God knows all the other stuff. But yeah, can't wait till Star Wars Battlefront in a few weeks' time. But in the meantime, this will get completed. So it took a little bit longer. I just had a little bit of fine tuning to do to get it right. But you should get the final one either tomorrow or on Monday, and then I'll give you a full run through over the whole level. So there you go. Look, we're coming back to the morning again now, which is not too bad. Well, I hope you liked it. I hope you like what you've seen. I hope you're thinking of your ideas of how to make your castle attack work. And by the way, any levels that you're doing, chuck them in. Throw me the idea. Tell me what you're doing. I'd like to hear what you guys are making, or what you've used, or if you found any of my clips interesting, and the stories you come up with. There we go, and we made it through to the daytime, which is not too bad. Right, I'll show these other little extras like I mentioned in the final clip, which is coming soon. Well, look, guys, thanks for watching. Cheers for all your support. Can't do this all without you. Thank you very much, and we'll speak to you soon. Catch you later. See you soon, mate. Bye.